You know that feeling? As soon as it gets cold, my back starts acting up and my joints get noticeably stiff. But why is that exactly?
That's exactly the question we'll be answering today. We'll give you 4 clear reasons why many people tend to feel more pain during the winter. And we'll start right away with reason number 1. When it's cold outside, when it's raining, when it's generally unpleasant, what do a lot of people tend to do then? They go out less and move less. In summer, when the weather's nice, you tend to do more sports and spend more time outdoors, so you get noticeably more activity. But in winter, this tends to shut down. As a result, muscles stiffen, become shorter, and tension increases. And all that makes the pain worse. So the tip would be, even if it's cold and wet outside, go out anyway, even though it feels difficult, unpleasant, and draining at times. There's a saying, there's no bad weather, only bad clothing. So dress warmly and snugly, and then your body's internal temperature won't necessarily be any lower than it normally is, to be honest. Which is good because being warm makes you feel comfortable even in winter.
Yeah, and another thing is that during winter we just have less light, so the days feel shorter and there's generally much less daylight. And less light isn't exactly something we humans like. We actually love the sun, we love the warmth. Then we open up, we get new ideas. And when we have too little light, we tend to feel less lively. Then we tend to pull back a bit. So, like you already said, we move around less. We're also not really that active, and we're not bursting with lots and lots of ideas, quite the opposite. You know, some people do tend to get a bit sadder, more melancholic in winter, and generally end up eating more and feeling more down, often experiencing that low mood more consistently and noticeably than at other times, and feeling it more persistently. So that means the overall mood in the winter months is sadly not as lively and active as during the warmer months, often coming across as noticeably more subdued and less vibrant. And so all I can say is, for example, you can still, even if it's cold with the right clothes on, make it a habit to get outside every day for at least half an hour, and preferably actually around midday if you can manage that, making it part of your regular routine and trying to stick to it whenever possible, to just soak up that beautiful light, because it clearly puts us in a much better mood and noticeably lifts our spirits as well. Plus, you also moved a bit, so you've already done 2 things at once simply by that small bit of movement.
Next point. Cold. It's just colder in winter than in summer. Imagine how you feel when you get into a cold bathtub. Or when you enter a nice warm bath. What's the difference? In the cold, your muscles contract and tighten up much, much more. They get a lot more tension, and since many people already have muscle tension affecting their movement, almost so much that it causes pain or is about to, and so it becomes much more noticeable. Then it really comes out in winter. From experience, we always know that in October, the number of pain patients rises far more sharply, because it gets noticeably cooler then. That's a very clear connection. It means you can prepare for that tension by consciously, deliberately, and progressively training the cold away from your body well ahead of time. How's that supposed to work? How can I train the cold away? It's simple, by doing our exercises. Because when you do our exercises, stretching and strength work that loosen everything up, it might get colder, but your muscle tension will still be so low, staying relaxed and hardly noticeable, so you don't end up in pain. And just like that, the problem's solved. You can be totally pain-free in winter, just like in summer.
And that's also the reason why people who are able to do so tend to travel to considerably warmer countries during the colder winter months, as a general rule. Because there they feel much better, their muscles are of course more relaxed, and they also get more light. And with that, we now come to the so-called light vitamin that we really need to talk about at this point, vitamin D. And a vitamin D deficiency can very clearly indeed be one of the main underlying reasons for quite noticeably increased pain overall. For one thing, literally every single one of our body's cells contains a vitamin D receptor, which means that essentially all of our cells depend on vitamin D. And if we don't have enough, the body is in a deficit. How does it then make that noticeable? How does it actually show that to us? Either the body gets sick or it causes pain. So you should definitely be supplementing vitamin D regularly, preferably together with K2 as well. And please, if you don't know how much to take, just have your blood tested to check your vitamin D level and ask your doctor. By the way, there are tests you can have sent to your home. You just take a tiny drop of blood from your fingertip, send that drop back, and you'll be told pretty quickly how high or more likely how low it actually is, fairly promptly afterward. How low your vitamin D level is. So basically, in winter, depending on how sturdy or less sturdy you are, I generally recommend somewhere between 3 and 5 as a rough guideline. Or depending on how the patient is doing or what condition they're in, even 6,000 international units per day suggested as an option in those particular circumstances and cited as a daily supplementation level. You should definitely share this video with absolutely everyone because during this cold winter, lots of people probably have these problems.